So now that we have our tempo, we can go about actually recording in our drum parts, which is where the really kind of exciting stuff happens. So what we're going to do is we have our MIDI track here with the drum kit that we put together right here. So it's armed, as you can see right here. This is red, so that means it's ready to go. It's ready to record. So what I'm going to do is this is the way I find it easiest to input finger drumming rhythms into my push. I'm going to push the play button, and we have the metronome going, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And whenever I feel ready to start recording a loop, I'm going to hit this round circle right here, which is white at the moment. That's the record button. So once I hit this record button, let me just draw this out for you just to make it a little more visual. Hold on, let me just start this over again. So when I have the metronome on, what you're hearing, is if we're in 4/4, which is up here, you can see right here, that means there's 4 quarter notes to a bar. So really, ultimately, you're hearing a high note and 3 low notes, right? Let me just put that back on. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that high note at the very beginning, let me just see it, make sure it's nice and big so you can see it on the camera, right? So this high note right here, that's the beginning of the bar. So that's where the 1 is. So let me just write the 1 in red. And then you have the 2, 3, and 4, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So then let me just, so that's one bar, okay? Or one measure. Some people call it a measure. And then you just have to imagine it repeats again. So we have the next 1, 2, 3, and 4. Three, 4. And that just goes on for however long you have the play button pushed down and the metronome going, right? So here we'll have it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, while the metronome is on, I'm just going to try and find a sound that I find interesting to start off my beat. So let's have a look. Remember, we have our bass drums in green and the snares and the hi-hats. So let me start off with a bass drum, okay? So let me see. I don't really like that sound actually, so I prefer this sound. Okay. So let me see. If I have a pattern like this, right? So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. It's basically a 1 bar loop, right? So what I need to do is, as I'm counting along in my head with the high note, 1, 2, 3, 4, before I get to the bar, say this is the bar I want to record in. So if that was where I want to have the record button armed, I need to push this round circle right here, the record button on my push, in the bar before the bar where I want to record, okay? So if I was, okay, let me just count along. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I push my record button now, it's going to start recording now, right? So let me just stop that. Okay, so you need to push the record button in the bar before the bar where you want to record. So let me just write record here. Okay, so this is where you need to push record button. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. So as you're counting along and you're getting ready to record your part and you're counting, whenever you think, okay, now I want to do it, you push the button here, 2, 3, 4, and then it starts recording on that one. Okay? Now, the thing you also have to realize is if you're sort of inputting or if you're starting and stopping the recording process with the record button, and there is another way of doing it, which I will show you in a moment, whenever you want the recording to stop and start to loop, you need to push the record button in the bar before you want the recording to stop. So as I said before, this is a 1 bar loop that I'm about to record. So basically as soon as I go boom, 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 the last bass drum that I'm about to perform is on the 3. I need to try and hit the record button again as soon as possible before we reach the 1 of that next bar, which I haven't written down here. Okay? So really and truly, I have to hit the record button here. It starts recording. In this part here, I'm hitting it. I'm inputting my bass drum part, and then I hit the record button again, and then you'll see it'll start to loop this part over and over again. Okay? So let me just demonstrate that for you right now. Okay? So this is the bass drum sound I'm going to be using. Okay, so I'm about to hit the play button. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'm hitting the button, and it's going to record now. And then I hit the button again, and there we have it. It's now looping the bass drum part that I just recorded. And that's one of the really, really cool features of using Ableton Live to compose, is you've just really simply started recording a part which you can now build upon as it's playing, which I'm going to demonstrate for you now.